coming up. I think we've got some awards to present, and I think we'll move right into that.
Yeah,
so.
and I think you'll do us the honor. Yeah.
Yep. We have a couple of awards. I think I'll go in. So I'll tell you about the awards. So we're starting. Last year we gave out our first award as a kind of an ALD community, ALD Connect community, and the award went to Ann Moser. Where's Ann? So applause to Ann. So for those of you who don't know Ann, Ann's been involved in the field of ALD since we had a name for ALD, more or less. And Ann has pioneered work on every level, and not everyone may know, but Ann has neither a PhD nor an MD, and has done some of the most pioneering work in the field. And I think it's a wonderful testament to what one can accomplish with a tremendous deal of intelligence, enthusiasm, and compassion for patients in the community. And so we have, on that note, named our award after Ann Moser. And so it is, we also have a plaque for Ann, of course, acknowledging that. And let me just see which one it is here. Here it is. So we have the Ann B. Moser ALD Community Award, so named for Ann. And I think it's I'll let Ann come up. So we have named this award in honor of Ann in recognition of her pioneering work as a scientist, a humanist, and a lifelong friend of the ALD community. So I know Ann loves to speak in front of an audience, and so I will. But
what can I say except thank you for this great honor and award. I guess if my husband and I had to do it all over again, we'd do the same thing. The dream was to diagnose patients with ALD and identify family members with ALD, establish therapies for ALD, and of course, the dream was to establish newborn screening for ALD, because then the therapies that can be done will be effective. So thank you so much for this award.
Thanks. Thanks very much, Ann. Okay, so we have an annual award now named after Ann, and now I will present the award itself. What we wanted to do was sort of recognize I guess an individual or group of individuals within the ALD community who had, regardless of their association with ALD Connect exactly, who'd been done some pioneering work or achieved a major milestone for the community. And this year we've honored the members who are involved in the newborn screening effort. So for those of you who may not know, ALD has achieved a major milestone in newborn screening. It recently is been approved by a major scientific panel on the national level in the U.S., and that is on its way to making formal approval before the recommended universal screening panel in the U.S., which means that will be kind of the recommendations on a national level for what's to be added at each state level, and each state will implement it on their own accord. But that was really the last major hurdle to getting approval there are basically kind of a windfall of states that are going to fall into place. So we of course couldn't do this without acknowledging Elisa Seeger, who was an amazing force of nature, who got ALD screening on the newborn panel in New York State almost by herself. I mean, it was really amazing what she did. Lisa is not here today, but I did want to mention that there are several people we're presenting this award to. I will read off their names here to acknowledge them. These are people who were key to getting the ALD newborn screening accomplished in the U.S. And so we have Elisa Seeger, Amber Salzman, Jean Kelly, Janice Sherwood, and Patty Chapman. And give a round of applause. So, I know we've got a few of these people here. Who's here from this group? I wonder if they can come up. I think Jean and who else? Lisa and Patty cannot be here, but we do have. I'll let Amber and Janice Sherwood say a few words here. But so for those of you who don't know, Janice Sherwood from Fight ALD, Amber Salzman from Stop ALD, and I'm going to let you guys just say a few words if you like on behalf. And I think a few of the other members did have a couple of words they wanted to say. I think Greg is here to accept the word on behalf of his mom, Patty Chapman. So let me.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. This is quite an honor. This was definitely a huge group effort on the part of everybody that's been named, and we couldn't have accomplished it without the help of everybody. One thing that does need to be mentioned is that once it is added to the RUSP, we did pass legislation last year in California for screening all newborns, so we'll be able to begin that as soon as the Secretary signs it. So we are moving ahead and trying to get it in every state. A lot of work to be done yet, but thank you again.
So I do want to thank everyone. This is really it takes a village to do this type of thing. I mean, this started many years ago, and I remember even when we put the nomination in to the advisory committee. Yes, this is what I was going to say. 3 years ago, when we put the nomination in, it was actually Charlie Peters because we needed to have a physician nominated. And I remember working back then, and we pulled together across the ALD foundations to work, to all the different ones, to work with Charlie to get that nomination in. And I remember sitting next to the other patient advocates when they turned us down, like saying, but this is crazy. We have everything. And we just were relentless for the last 3 years until we got their support and approval. And even up until the last minute when they voted on it a few weeks ago, it was just relentless behind-the-scenes effort to make sure that this would go forward. And it took everyone's efforts to make that happen. So very, very much appreciate everyone's help in driving this monumental thing forward. Although if I could put a plug in, the journey's only begun because getting it on the RUSP, unfortunately, does not mean that every baby's going to have a chance. We still have to attack all the 50 states. I mean, we have California, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, which, of course, between California and New York, those are high birth rate states, but we still have to hit every other state so that no baby is at a disadvantage, and all the families that they impact, because it doesn't stop with the newborn screen, it goes well beyond it. So really, really appreciate everyone's help.
So I actually have a note here from my mother. But it's a good thing that I'm here accepting the award in her honor, because if any of you know my mother, she'd be crying right now, and she would not be able to get through this. So I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of my mother, who regretfully couldn't be here today. I would like to sincerely thank ALD Connect for this thoughtful recognition. As you both said, this award is really dedicated to the whole team. We had an amazing team: Janice, Keith, Anne, Amber, Gina Cousineau, and our bill author in California, Dr. Richard Pan. And lastly, Mike Knutson, who is our fearless lobbyist, who completely changed our opinion about the profession, let me tell you. Proving to us that there are actually good lobbyists out there. Amazing. The process taught all of us involved how important it is to set goals, work together, and not to let significant obstacles hinder our efforts. There's this quote I heard somewhere I'd like to end with. It's amazing what can be accomplished when no one cares about who gets the credit. Heard that somewhere. Thank you, guys.
1 minute. We do have a quote from Elisa, too, I think, that Ina is going to read on Elisa's behalf.
So Elisa wanted me to say this on her behalf. She says, "I'm so honored to receive this award for newborn screening. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with all of you today. ALD newborn screening is my primary mission, and I believe it is the first line of defense to stopping this horrific disease. The knowledge of having this information at the newborn stage will not only save so many lives, but will open doors to the collection of data and research for a cure. Together, we have made enormous strides in such a short amount of time. Our work continues until every baby in the US and worldwide will be tested for ALD. I am grateful to be a part of the ALD Connect community, which inspires me to try harder every day. Thank you."
Thanks. Picture? Yeah. Okay. We have our last word. So I should also mention that the ALD Community Award we have intended for in the future years we'll be having that award nominated and voted on by kind of an independent panel of diverse ALD community members. So lastly, though, for the ALD Connect community, in other words, the group who's sponsoring the event today, we have kind of our Volunteer of the Year award. We've named it the Ambassador of the Year award because of all the, in many cases, logistics that it entails of working with so many different aspects of the patient community, pharmaceutical community, and so on. And we could very well call it the Volunteer award, but Ambassador sounded nicer. So. But it is, for those of you who don't know, ALD Connect is powered almost entirely by volunteer staff in energy. And I think there was one person this year who really embodied that gusto and energy, and that's Rachel Salzman, who is here today. If you can come up, Rachel. Yeah. So, sure. Yeah. So it's in the shape of a stop sign, not for, stop ALD necessarily, but it's that's the way it came out. So for those of you who don't yet know Rachel, Rachel has been involved in the LD community for, 15 years. And with most recently with ALD Connect, she's led Work Group 3 into the tremendous effort of rigorously evaluating existing and potential therapies for ALD, along with Kendrick Goss from Bluebird Bio, and has done a remarkable job with Kendrick of producing a really tractable and actionable list of drug candidates, and has just been a wonderful joy to have in the group. So let me pass the mic to Rachel and let her say a few words.
Okay, thank you. This was a complete surprise. I was wearing one boot. I'm not. Thank you very much. I don't deserve this. Everyone else does. But as long as I'm up here, Work Group 3 is having a working dinner tonight at 6:30 p.m. Attendance is not optional. Work Group 3 non-members are welcome to attend. We're going to sort of be revisiting the living document that Kendrick, my co-chair, had begun to talk a little bit about yesterday, and we're also going to talk a little bit more about where we want to go forward with the biomarkers. So that's how I'd like to use my minute up here. Thank you very much, everybody, for your help.
Thanks, Rachel. Oh, very welcome. Okay, that's it for the awards. Thanks to everybody. I should also add that obviously we have far more people to recognize than we have awards for, but we look forward to the years ahead and recognizing the tremendous efforts of the community. There's